Hey y'all, welcome back to Goalpost Barbecue and Cooking. If it's Goalpost, it's good. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Robert Weathers, and I tonight am going to be doing something that's one of my favorite things in the whole wide world to cook, and that is a pork shoulder. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cook this thing in my Weber Smokey Mountain overnight. We're going to get some good smoke on it, some hickory and cherry wood. The main fuel source, because it's a Weber Smokey Mountain, is going to be charcoal briquettes. But first, let me say, you may have noticed I have a little baseball sticker on my shirt here that I got out of a Cracker Jack box. Happy opening day. I actually did get that out of a Cracker Jack box, by the way. So finally we have sports again. The NBA began playing this week and baseball begins tonight. As a matter of fact, they started just a minute ago. It has been a swelteringly hot week here in southeastern Virginia. You can probably see the humidity by the water, the condensation here on my window in the kitchen, but that's okay. We're gonna have a good smoke and we're gonna have some good food tomorrow for the gathering that I'm gonna be taking this bad boy to. This right here weighs 7.6 pounds. I picked it up tonight at Walmart. It is a Smithfield and it's got the bone in. We're gonna do a little trimming on it and then we're gonna cook this, like I said, over some hickory and cherry. And our rub here tonight is gonna be what I consider to be just backyard style. It actually is my favorite, personal favorite way to cook pork butt, and that is with good old salt and pepper. So y'all stick around and we're gonna get cooking here in just a minute. All right, so as you can see, I have taken the old girl out of her package here, and what we are gonna do is we're gonna trim off a lot of this fat here that's not really gonna help us out during the cook. Make sure your hands are nice and clean, like I just did. And as you can see, of course, this is a pork shoulder, so it's got all kinds of fat that's running in through there. I'm telling you right now, as long as you're paying attention to this while it's cooking, and I know I said that I was going to do this overnight. I'm going to sleep through a lot of this cook. But what I mean, as long as you are making sure that you keep it moist after the bark forms, you don't need this layer of fat. I've heard people say that it's protective or all that sort of thing. No, what this is going to do is it's going to keep your salt and your pepper from getting down into that meat, and it does need it. So make sure that you're being very careful because the fat is slippery. I'm going to take this nice, this wonderful filleting knife that my dear sweet wife, who is definitely not listening to me do this in the next room, gave me, and we're just going to cut that off, and all that is going to go into the trash can here in just a little bit. It's just the trash can's back over behind the camera, so I'm not going to put it in there right this second. I'm going to have to clean out this sink anyway because this pork shoulder was just in there. So we're just going to slice this off nice and easy. Again, be very careful of your fingers because as you can see, the fat can be very slippery. So if you're having problems with that, I just kind of press it down along the top and then let the knife do the work. If your knife is sharp, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with it. All right, now y'all, so here we are. So here is the other side we didn't trim, and here is the side that we did. I decided to leave this on here. This might get a little crispy, but again, this is just for us and friends, so I'm not overly worried about it. I used to use mustard for my binder, but I am now pretty well set on Worcestershire sauce, and I got just a little bit left here in this bottle, which would be perfect for this application. This is extremely simple. So all we're gonna do is take this Worcestershire sauce, get a little bit on here. You don't need much. Just gonna bind these on here, nice and simple. And then we're gonna take salt. Seasoned salt is what I like to use. You use what you wanna use. I know some people put things like the Killer Hogs AP rub. It's got salt, pepper, garlic, and then whatever else is in there. I think this pretty much takes care of everything that we need so far as that is concerned. So we're just gonna put this on, and I'm telling you, we're gonna put this on generously. Just slide the old girl around. If you've never done this before, this looks like a lot of salt, and it is. But bear in mind, this is a big piece of meat. It can take that. And in addition to that, after you form this bark, if you get some of it, you're going to be getting a little tiny piece that's probably going to be attached to a longer piece of muscle after we pull it, right? So don't you worry about getting too much of that salt in one spot. You know, you're not looking to preserve this for thousands of years or anything like that, but you'll be fine with the amount of salt that you just saw me put on here. I don't even know how much it was. And then I like to take restaurant pepper. I'm not sure how to say this brand, Badia, but if you're looking for cheaper spices in your local grocery store, go to where they have the Mexican spices, Latin American spices, and they'll be there for you. All right, we're gonna put a whole bunch of this pepper on here too. What I'm doing with my hand here is I'm more just catching, right? I'm not so concerned about it being super duper even. That's not really my concern at this point. Just looking to get it on here. And it's gonna really give this a nice flavor over time. All right, I'm not gonna worry about that side with this pepper just yet. That's my dog drinking in the background. That's my dog Knox, if you can hear him slurping the water there. Same thing on this side. Easy peasy, 1, 2, 3, easy. All right, y'all, so we've made it out here onto my back deck, and I've got the Weber Smokey Mountain just about ready to light up. I did that so that we could go ahead and get everything ready before it gets dark, so I'll give you a quick tour. Right here, you can see the base of the Smoky Mountain. I've got my Royal Oak charcoal briquettes. Those are the favorite ones for me to use. I've got some hickory, and I've got some cherry, and in the center, I've got a little bit of both. I use my charcoal chimney here in the grate of the Weber, my kettle, I mean to say, to get things started. Just a little bit of the bag down there. I also sometimes use Trader Joe's bags. And just a single layer, maybe a little more than a single layer of charcoal to get things going. Now here, once we get started, I will use my water pan. I know some people think that you don't need it, and they might be right, but I like to use it. I just fill up a stock pot and get everything get it nice and full before the cook. That will also help us when we put the meat on and we leave it overnight, not to get dry without having to come out and spritz it. The Smoky Mountain is more or less ready to go. Our meat is resting in the fridge, soaking up that salt and that pepper flavor. So here in just a couple of hours, we'll come back out and get her onto the smoker. I came out here to film my very first pork shoulder video for y'all, and my grate thermometer is totally busted. When I plug it in, it either tells me that it's HHH, which on the ThermoPro means that it's way too hot, or it reads at about 500 when I know for a fact that this was nowhere near 500. Fortunately, I still have my food thermometer, which is writing right now at about 150. I don't know if you can see it or not. So that's good. That will at least let me know how hot it is in there. And we're not going to let this get too hot, so it should be okay. So this guy is done. Good thing we're looking just to control the temperature in here and not worry too much about the temperature of the meat. We're worried again about tenderness. You might say to yourself, well, hey Robert, why don't you just check the thermometer on the dome? Well, I got bad news for you there too. The dome thermometer on this thing is not particularly accurate, and several months ago we had a colony of ants. That's right, a colony of ants take up residence inside of this thermometer, and it totally ruined it. So I'm without a thermometer inside the pit. The good news is that I know about how hot it's going to run if I close the vents to a certain level. So we're just going to close the vents, cross our fingers, and hope everything turns out all right. I'm sure it will. I'll be back when the pit gets up to temp, right about 250 degrees. Well, y'all, I am calling an audible here. The temperature is at about 220. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this girl onto that bottom grate there. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do about the probe situation. It just is what it is. So I'm going to try and keep it away on this side of the grate from the meat, and we are going to put her, like I said earlier, what was at one time the fat cap down, situate her in, and we're going to let her come to temperature with the meat in. Now, this is not ideal, as you know. You can see plainly there's a good deal of smoke, of thick smoke coming out of there. She'll be all right. We've all been here before, I think, so I'm just gonna let this settle down here, let it settle in, hopefully at about, like I said, 250, and then we'll leave her alone for the rest of the night. I'll check in with you in just a little while. All right, y'all, so after a little bit of working, I was able to get the old girl to settle it at about 250, as you can see here. So I know it's backwards, but I'm filming in reverse here. I'm gonna head to bed. It is a little after midnight, about a quarter after midnight. Get up about probably 6 or 7 and check on it, and I will be back with you then. Until then, she's gonna be out on her own, just doing her thing, and we'll see how she's doing in the morning. All right, see you then. Good morning, everybody. It's about 7 o'clock following morning. Now, I signed off from y'all, I think, a little after 11 last night, but I ended up babysitting this thing for almost 2 more hours because the temperatures were just fluctuating. Something crazy. There was some rain and some wind, and just stuck up with it. So I went to bed at about 1 o'clock, but here we are. And if you'll take a look, since things have calmed down, this temperature here has kept really solid. 250, just about on the nose. So we're gonna open this thing up. We're gonna give it its first spritz, take a look at it, and give me just 1 second to fix the camera so you can see. Honest to goodness, I have not opened this since last night. So let's take a look. All right. I know a lot of people in YouTube videos use their fancy thermal gloves with their coverings, but these are my barbecue gloves. Take this guy off here. Not bad, right? Pretty good, actually. Woo! Yeah, that spread it out nicely. Look at that bone pull right there. Ooh, and that jiggle. Oh, that's pretty sexy, isn't it? So I'm gonna give this guy a spritz here. I know that it's not finished, but I'm gonna give it a little spritz here. So what I have here is just my North Carolina vinegar sauce. It's vinegar, brown sugar, salt, pepper, and red pepper. So just gonna do a little shake over the top here. Looking good. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna let this sit here, and we are going to go here in just a few minutes and take a probe check on it just to see where it is. Like I said, I know it's not done, but I'd like to check. Here we are. So this is an old school thermometer, an analog thermometer, as you can see. It's not beautifully accurate, I will say, but that is not the point. Remember, what we're looking for here is to see if this thing probes. And what I mean by that is that this piece of meat, when it is cooked up to
right about 200 degrees or so internal temperature will be like putting this probe into soft butter, and that is not an exaggeration. So let's just see how it does. Oh, there's some definite resistance there. Okay, so it probes really well over here. Over here, not surprised, especially with that bone sticking out there. Here in the middle, oh yeah, there's some heavy resistance there. So there in the middle, that's a lot like putting that into a cold steak.
It's about 10 o'clock, so it's been a couple hours since we've looked at the old girl. Let's take her off and get a peek. You can see that I moved her to the top rack because I stuck a chicken down beneath over there. Got some good jiggle there, that's for sure. Nice. You can see that's set on there very nicely. The bark, I mean. So I'm going to take this probe again, and that's getting better. Oh, out here it really is like butter. People say it's like butter, but if you've never done this before, as soon as you feel it for the first time, you'll know. No resistance there. A little resistance there. It's not quite ready, but it's pretty close. I think all this, it's about, like I said, 10 o'clock now. All this will be ready by lunchtime. We are right at 12 hours and my temperature started to dip, so I had to throw some charcoal on, and I thought I'd go ahead and check the probe while I was out here. It's only been about 20 minutes, but like I said, it's right at 12 hours here on this cook, and this guy is done. So there's a little bit of resistance in there, but I'm okay with that. I think that we'll all, yeah, that's good. That's good. All right now, y'all. So I'm gonna take this thing off. I'm gonna let it rest for a while, and then we'll check back in when we come to pull it. Here we are, finished product. It's rested for a while, so it's just about ready to pull. There's still some warmth in there. You sure can feel it, but I can tell you right now that this is gonna pull like a dream. So I'm just gonna go ahead, start pinching, and pull it. Oh man, that was awesome. Yummy. I'm gonna wash my hands off real quick and adjust the camera angle so that we can do a proper taste test. Look at this. Oh, when it comes out clean like that. Beautiful. Moment of truth. Let's get a piece here. All right. Oh, dog sees it. Beautiful. Oh, it's crusty, but juicy. Pulls like a dream, as you can plainly see right here. So good. Salty, but not overpowering. We've got a good amount of heat from all that black pepper we put. I bet Knox will love it too, won't you, bud? Yummy. Thank you so much, y'all, for coming and cooking with me and hanging around with me here today. I sure am happy to have you here. If you enjoyed the video, if you found it helpful, I sure would appreciate it if you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to continue to make videos here in my kitchen and out on the back deck of just what I cook here at home. If you have any comments or if you have any questions, any suggestions on something that you'd like for me to make, I'd be more than happy to receive those in the comments down below. I can't guarantee that I'll be able to answer every comment, but I will do my very best to do so, and I certainly will see them. Thanks again. I really appreciate you joining us here at Goalpost Barbecue and Cooking. Remember, if it's Goalpost, it's good. What do you think, buddy?
Okay.
Good boy.